If you've been in business for a minute, you know what it's like to have that perfect customer, that person that you love working with and loves working with you. The thing is, it's hard to find that customer, and generally they come from referrals. Referrals are an amazing source of leads because it's somebody that you've worked with that has trust in you and has built trust with their community. And that person is going and telling their community how amazing you are, leveraging that trust that they have with them, therefore driving you amazing business. But here's the thing that restricts you. You can only grow so far that way. In order for you to generate and scale using referrals, you have to have systems. You have to make sure that you're asking for it. You have to make sure that you're consistently creating new customers out of thin air, right? But there's a better way to do this, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. If you can document instead of create in order to generate new customers and not have to do cold outreach or generate referrals, you are putting yourself in a key position. And this is what document don't create means. Instead of sitting down and scripting out what you want to tell people to convince them that you're trustworthy, show people why you're trustworthy. What makes you who you are, what makes you the best, and show those opportunities in real time. I'm a firm believer in let me see, don't tell me. Seeing is believing. So if you show people you delivering amazing service, if you show people you doing the things that you say you can do, that is what's going to establish that trust that you can otherwise only get by delivering the service for them. But that's the beautiful thing about social media. So there's this massive opportunity out there right now to document what you're doing for people in order to build this large community and develop trust and be able to scale your marketing approach. But here's the biggest challenge that I think people face. They only want to go out and network. They only want to generate referral business, which is capping their growth, and they don't think there's any other way. And they use this excuse of, well, when I'm busy, I don't have any time to market, and then they get slow, and then they go back to what they know works, which is asking for referrals and going and networking and selling. But here's the thing. When you cap yourself and you don't market at the right times and document, not create, you're capping your growth ceiling. And I want to talk to you guys today about how you can stop relying on networking and referrals and about how you can leverage your busiest seasons to market so you are constantly busy and have less slow seasons. Now, let's get into the story here and why I believe Document Don't Create will work for you. We worked with a client back in 2023 through 2024, and we started working with them when they had 1,500 followers on Instagram. They were posting relatively consistently, but they weren't posting content that built their brand. They were just posting to post to show off a little bit about themselves, right? But they weren't being intentional with their content. This person was in real estate. He was a real estate investor. We'll call him John Smith. His two primary goals were he wanted to raise capital and he wanted more deal flow for his business. Here's the thing. When you're trying to get deal flow in real estate, you're primarily getting them either from wholesalers who have access to the deals, or you're going and you're doing some sort of cold outreach or mailers. Our goal here was to generate more deals from wholesalers. Now, wholesalers, good wholesalers that find the best deals, they only want to give their deals to people that are going to be able to close and flip that property. They want to give it to the best possible real estate investors that they can to make sure that they get paid and their reputation stays tight because these are the best of the best, right? So our goal as we were going and making content was not to tell people that we knew how to flip property. It was not just to rely on the numbers because, believe it or not, numbers can lie. What we wanted to do was we wanted to show ourselves flipping property at a high level, solving the problems, interacting with the team, going through all of the nuances that it took to take this shitty home into an amazing home that they could flip and sell for money. So we wanted to show off the process, and through this, recording every single week, going and documenting these interactions, showing off the home and the transformation, not scripting content, we were able to get 15 million views in a matter of 10 months for this client in 2024. And that led to a growth beginning of 2024 of about 5,000 followers all the way to 47,500 followers, just under 50K followers on Instagram alone. And that isn't including the extra 10 to 15,000 followers on TikTok. So hopefully that gives you some enlightenment that you can absolutely go out there and start creating content. And let me tell you something. John Smith was an amazing marketer. He was someone that popped off the screen, but he was still a relative novice in the things that he was doing. He'd been doing it for a while, but I'll tell you this, you out there, if you have an amazing business If you are delivering an amazing service, you absolutely have the ability to grow massively and to bring your community into you. So let's talk about the framework that you can follow if you want to execute on this. And this is what I call the document don't create blueprint. The document don't create blueprint. There's 2 steps to it and only 2 steps. The thing that you want to do first is figure out who is your ideal customer over the next 6 months. What projects are they going to hire you for? What things are they going to hire you for? I want you to be very specific. Who is this person? What projects are they going to hire you for? What is the scope of the project? How much are they going to pay you? Once you have that identified, now we know exactly who we're targeting through our content and exactly who we're targeting through this documentation. The next thing that I want you to do is go and look at your calendar over the next week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks, however long you have projects out for. And I want you to pinpoint the different opportunities where you're actually executing currently on projects for those ideal clients. What ideal clients do you currently have in your pipeline right now? What ideal clients are you currently doing projects for? Pinpoint those opportunities, and those are your opportunities for recording content. That's where I want you to start. And when you go to these projects, what you want to do is you want to document a few different things. Number 1, what is the project scope? Where did they start and where are you trying to get them? Make it very clear on what the pain point and what the dream outcome is of that project. The second thing that I want you to document, how are you executing on the different nuances of solving problems? How are you executing on the different nuances of getting them from point A to point Z? That's what I want you to document. And this can go as little, if you're in the blue collar trades, as what tools do you use? How do you communicate? How do you prep? All of the different things. The interesting thing about this is people are more interested than you might think they are about the different things that you're doing within the job. You might think that all they care about is the beginning and the end, but people are actually very interested in what happens in your expertise. And what happens when you dig into these nuances is you start to really unravel what your expertise is, and you're showing people how smart you are. You're not just telling them, I know how to do this. You're showing them how you're doing it. And that is unbelievably powerful. So as you're going and you're recording the before, the after, going through the different nuances, and then the second one is going through the different nuances. There's a third element to it that is just as important. And this is the thing that is going to help you go the most viral and generate the most views and probably bring the most people in. And this is the interactions. Never sleep on the interactions. People love seeing person A and person B interacting. Go on YouTube, scroll on YouTube Shorts for a little bit, and you will see this being true. When you're interacting with your team, when you're interacting with customers, with past clients, all of these different interactions that happen throughout a project where you're conversing, show those off. Make sure that you have somebody behind the camera, whether it be an admin or a videographer, that catches these raw moments. Those moments are gold because it shows people who you really are, because interactions show a lot more about you than you trying to talk to the camera. Because at the end of the day, let's be real. When you're talking to the camera, you're trying to convince somebody of something. There is an in-animation element to the camera where you're not talking to a person. But when people see you interacting with others, they no longer rely on who you say you are. They're seeing who you really are and how you maneuver through your space. So catch those interactions. And oftentimes this is where the highest energy moments come, and high energy is gold for content. Being high energy attracts people in, because I'll tell you a little rule. The people that you watch on social media that have energy that pops off the screen, I guarantee you, their energy is times 100 of that in person. Your energy decreases by about 50 to 100% when people are watching it over the screen. So we want to try to find the opportune moments where our energy is high, because that is going to translate really well to the camera and to post-production and content. But if your energy is low, it's going to look even lower when people are scrolling through social media. So document those interactions and really lean into them. So that's the basic framework. That's what I want you to do. But I know that the number one thing that people will give me when I tell them this whole process is going to be, well, I don't have the time. Your business is growing, so you do have the budget, but maybe it's that you don't have the time. And I want to pose a little conundrum to you here. When you say that you don't have the time to market, what you're telling yourself is you don't have time to invest into your future. But the fact is, as a business owner, your goal is to constantly invest into your future. It's not to focus on the present. Yes, you have to solve problems, but you are the one building the future. If you're not, nobody is. So instead of telling yourself that I don't have time to market, tell yourself, I absolutely have time to invest in my future. And it's actually not that difficult with this process, because here's the mind frame I want you to take. The times when you're busiest is actually the best times for you to market yourself. Why is that? Through this process of document, don't create, when you're busy and you're showing off you're busy, there's this concept that people like to work with people that are busy. If you want something done, give it to somebody who's busy. That's the basic concept. It's ingrained in human psychology and culture, and it's true. So when you're busy and you're showing off all of these projects, all of these amazing things that you're doing for clients, and you're documenting that, it makes it 100 times easier to create content than when you're slow. So not only is documenting going to help increase your busyness over a period of time, but this is the time that you're going to get the absolute best content as well. So don't tell yourself that you can't market. Don't tell yourself you don't have the time. Build it into your schedule. Build it into your fulfillment by spending the money on a videographer, by spending the money on some editing team, using the current team that you have to document these things. And I guarantee you that some good things are going to happen for your business. Remove the barriers and execute. That is the key to being a successful entrepreneur from everybody that I've talked to. And I've talked to people that are worth millions, tens of millions, and hundreds of millions of dollars. So let's do a quick recap of everything that we just talked about so you can execute on this and you can level up your brand and your business at the same time and never have a slow season. First, understand that document, don't create is the best way to build trust. Don't yell at people to build trust. Show them why you're trustworthy. Secondarily, look at your ideal client, look at your calendar, find the moments where you're executing for your ideal client and document those things. Number 3, lean into the interactions, lean into the nuances of your business, show people the transformations, dig into every aspect of these projects, of these things that you're fulfilling for your clients, because that is going to show the credibility, the relatability. That's going to show who you are and your expertise, and that's what's going to help you grow. And number 4, eliminate your excuses. The best time to market is when you're busy. Don't allow your busyness to not allow you to invest into your future, because marketing is investing into your future. So go out there and execute, but do me one favor before you click off this video. Go down below, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, comment a question that you might have about branding, about marketing, about following this process so I can answer it for you. I will respond to every single one of these comments, and I promise you that I'm going to be looking at these to build out my content for the next year, for the next 2 years. Your comments matter, so please go and comment something that you have a question about, and I would love your guys' feedback. And if you're interested in working with our company, Micheletti Media, go to my Instagram account. It's going to be tagged right down below in the what do you call it, the comment section. Click on that, DM me the word elite, and I'm going to reach out to you and I'm going to show you what it would be like to work with Micheletti Media to level up your brand in 2025 and beyond. It's time to execute. It's time to grow. I appreciate you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.